Stranded on a Dirt Road by Jarvis B. Chavez. This is WJBC News 98, your 24-hour news radio station, with the important news at the top of the hour and when it breaks. State officials have called off the search for an elderly couple who were reported missing 2 weeks ago near Foothill Canyon State Park. The couple had reportedly gone camping for the weekend. Their RV was found abandoned in a nearby campground. Officials remain baffled and have asked for the public's help in finding this elderly couple. If you have any information regarding their whereabouts, please contact your local police.
Turn off that stupid radio, Abby. I am not a mechanic. I don't know what I am looking for, I yelled at Abby. I told you you should have had your car serviced before we left on such a long trip. Okay, Laura Bell, I know. Enough! We're gonna be a couple of sorry, out-of-work nurses if we don't get our butts to Atlanta in 2 days, I reminded Abby. This was not a good start to our new career as nurses. Just a few months ago, we had graduated from the same hospital nursing program. We had gotten lucky and stumbled upon a recruiter from a major medical corporation who practically hired us on the spot to work in a hospital in Georgia. This whole trip has been a disastrous miscalculation. The gas and food have all cost us double of what we thought. We spent the first 2 days of our trip sightseeing and lost so much time that way. And now this! I turned to Abby. Look, I have tried everything I know about cars. The car still does not want to move. Face it, we need help. Abby looked at me. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Our cell phones are dead because my crappy cigarette lighter doesn't work. Look, I said. One of us needs to go for help while the other stays here with our suitcases and stuff. There is no one traveling this shortcut the waitress at the truck stop bragged about. Abby looked up and stared at me. Okay, who's going? Only one way to be fair. We flip a coin. Abby immediately said, I call tails. Okay, I replied. I pulled a quarter out and flipped it. Oh, my God, it's heads, I yelled out in joy. Abby promised that she would walk to the truck stop and either call a tow truck or get the sheriff. I watched her walk over the small hill and out of sight. I went to the trunk and pulled out a blanket my grandmother had made me and grabbed my purse. I put my blanket down under a tree to get some shade. I used my purse as a pillow and stretched out on the blanket. I was plumb tired. We had been up since the crack of dawn, and we messed with that stupid car well over an hour. I need some rest. I closed my eyes for what felt like a few seconds. Shit! I sat straight up and opened my eyes to the clear night sky. What time is it? I must have fallen asleep. I raised my wrist to my face. It had been 3 hours since Abby had left. I hope she gets help soon. I really don't want to spend the night here alone. I put away my stuff in the back seat. I got into the driver's seat and locked all the doors. This place was pitch black, even with the moon and stars. I looked around at all the surrounding hills. I then had an idea. If I can climb all the way to the top of a hill, I could maybe get a better view of the valley. I might even find the highway and flag somebody down or find an emergency call box. I managed to hike up to the top of the hill. At the top was a dense patch of trees. I stopped and rummaged through my purse for my nurse's penlight. Yes, I found it. It would not provide a lot of light, but it was better than nothing. The big hill was at least a few miles away. I began to walk through the trees, headed for the hill. I then heard the distinct sound of a truck engine. The sound kept growing louder and seemed to be coming from behind me. It must be coming down the road where we broke down. I then heard a big bang, and then a sound of a whimpering dog. I immediately ran out of the woods and back down the hill, only to see the truck drive out of sight. No! I missed my chance of getting us out of here. I walked down the hill towards the car. I sat down on the side of the hill and just felt defeated. I hope Abby gets back soon. As I sat there, I started to hear a low-pitched sound. I looked around and saw nothing. I should get back into the car. No telling what's out here at night. I stood up when I heard growling coming from some bushes. I could not see anything, but the sound kept on coming closer. I stopped moving and just stood frozen in one place. I saw the outline of something coming towards me and saw a pair of yellowish eyes coming out of the darkness. The bright moonlight lit up a figure crawling on the ground. It appeared to be a coyote or a dog. It had a combination of light and dark fur. It had pointed ears like a German shepherd. I could see that part of its face was covered in something dark. It stopped crawling, and it sat there, just shaking like it was cold. It started to growl louder. After getting a better look at the stuff on its face, it looked like blood. Then it hit me. Oh, my God, this dog must have been hit by the truck. That's why I heard a dog's whimpering after a bang. Oh, poor boy. No wonder it's shaking. It's probably hurt. I walked slowly towards it. After all, it's a wild animal, and I don't want to startle it. As I stepped closer, I began to notice that it was a pretty big dog. It let out a very deep and menacing bark. I stopped walking. It started to bare its teeth at me. Without breaking its gaze, it slowly began to move. It managed to sit up on its front legs. It then moved its left very long paw back and brought up its left leg, then slowly raised itself upright onto its hind legs. At first I could not comprehend what I was seeing. This dog just got up off its 4 legs and stood upright like a man. It stood at least 6 feet tall. It appeared to have blood on its fur, all along the right side of its body. It held its right arm bent and close to its body, as if injured. Its right leg was at an unnatural angle and appeared much different than the left. Its pointy ears slowly moved back, and it started to crouch down as if it were about to attack. It leaped forward. I then heard a sound I only heard once while training as a nurse. The unmistakable sound of a bone breaking. The creature let out a scream, then fell to the ground. I ran back a few steps. Then it howled a very long and very eerie howl. I started to run up the hill. It saw me run and tried to move, but screamed out in pain. I got to the top of the hill and into the patch of woods. I stopped and hid behind a tree. From my view, I could see the creature struggling to get up on its feet. It would briefly stand, but as soon as he put any weight on its broken leg, it would fall back to the ground. It finally stopped struggling and laid on its back. I could hear its heavy breathing. I ducked back behind the tree and contemplated my next move. I didn't know what that thing was. All I knew was it was hostile. and I needed to get as far away from it as I could. It was severely injured, yet it still wanted to lunge at me. I thought of running to the car, but it was old and would not provide much protection from that dog man or whatever it was. My best bet would be to keep moving. Depending on its injuries, I might be able to outrun it. If I can cut through these woods and up that hill, I may make it out of here. I checked my watch. Where are you, Abby? I then peeked around the tree to see how it was doing. To my surprise, it was gone. I came out from behind the tree. My stomach sank. Was that thing just playing possum? The creature was not as injured as I had thought. Fuck! I immediately turned and began running through the woods. That thing is on the loose out here with me. I stopped briefly to catch my breath. I spotted a sharp tree branch lying on the ground. I picked it up. I might need this for protection, I thought to myself. I then caught the whiff of a strong odor. It was coming from straight ahead of me. I took out my penlight and shined it in the direction of the smell. I found part of a rotting carcass lying on the floor. There were flies all over it. I saw a partial rib cage, and as I flashed my light nearby, I saw what appeared to be a human skull, with some of its flesh still attached. It was badly decomposed, but I could see it had a patch of hair on it that appeared either white or gray. I felt like throwing up due to the smell. This must be that thing's hunting ground. I then heard a loud howl come from nearby. That was too close. I began to run. That hill must be further away than I had thought. It didn't seem to be getting any closer. I then heard what sounded like trees falling. Something sounded like it was crashing through the forest towards me. I stopped in the middle of a small clearing and heard a loud growling coming from behind me. As I turned around, I saw the battered figure of the creature. It stood there, growling, baring its fangs at me. Not even being hit by a truck slowed this thing down. It appeared to be dragging its broken leg behind it. Its yellow eyes shined in the dark. I felt the sweat start to form on my forehead. As I thought to myself, I would have to stand and fight. I gripped the branch tightly in my hand. If I could just stab it in its midsection or eyes, I could then make a run for it. I then heard growling coming from the right and left of me. I saw 2 other sets of eyes come out of the darkness to join the creature. There were 2 other dogmen. The color of their fur and markings were different, but there was no mistaking. They were the same type of beast. When the injured one howled earlier, he must have been calling out for help. The 2 others appeared to be much taller and bigger than the injured creature. I almost got the impression that the injured one may have been their younger brother or the runt of the litter. My God! As I said this, the 3 leaped forward towards me at the same time. I dropped the branch and turned to run. No!
Sheriff, this is Deputy Mills. You got your ears on, over? I was on my way back from the O'Neill crime scene when I came across an abandoned car just a few miles up the road. The vehicle was unlocked. I had to look around and I couldn't find the driver, so I searched the car and found some documents in the name of Laura Bell Fowler and an Abby O'Neill. The name Abby O'Neill matches the identification we found on that body down the road. From the name on the registration, this must be the dead girl's car. No, that's a negative, Sheriff. I can't seem to find hide nor hair of Miss Fowler. Could she be the one that maybe killed O'Neill, then ran? I'm curious to see what the medical examiner identifies as a murder weapon. The poor girl was ripped apart by something razor sharp. Someone must have really hated that O'Neill girl to have done that to her. I'm going to secure the vehicle and call a tow truck to have it taken to the police garage so we can conduct a more thorough search of the car later. Over. Sorry, Sheriff, say again? Can you repeat that? Sorry, some darn dog was howling and I couldn't hear that last part. No, negative. I don't need backup. I'll just wait for the tow truck, then I'll get back to the station. Mills out. That last howl sounded awful close. Oh well, it's only a dog anyway.